Hello and welcome back to I Smell Fraud. This is episode number 13, so the 13th country that I've been to, and the country this time is Benin, as I explained last time. So most people have not been to Benin once. I had the pleasure of going twice to this African country, and I'll tell you exactly when. So first time was in December 27. So I flew from Lisbon to Dakar, so to Senegal, and I had also something there, which will be for the Senegal episode. Then from Dakar with Rwanda Airlines, which is an airline that, yeah, it's it is an airline that flies mostly in Africa, and it's like almost like a bus, I would say, in the sense that it stops in a lot of in a lot of small places if you need to go. Um, for example, from one country to the other, might be that it stops like three times along the way if it's a long distance flight. Anyway, so I went with Rwanda from Dakar then to Abidjan, so the Ivory Coast, and then from Abidjan to Cotonou in Benin, and when I got back, I did the same thing, but this time with Brussels Airlines, and then they flew out into Europe. I will talk about Run there a bit later. The second time that I've been there was 7 months later, so in July 2018, and that time I used Turkish Airlines, and I'm gonna not gonna speak about Turkish Airlines because I flew a lot of times with them, and then we'll at the right point we'll talk about that airline. But basically, it was also Istanbul, Cotonou, and then Cotonou, Abidjan, Istanbul. Um, so Benin is a country in West Africa. It has a very small um, coastline, I think around 300 kilometers or so. It's almost as small as, or even less, it's almost as small as Togo next to it. And then you have, of course, the big neighbor Nigeria on the right side. Cotonou is not the capital. Capital is Porto Novo, but Cotonou is basically the economical center of Benin, which basically is the part here in the bottom of the south of the country, because the north is mostly forest and then a bit desert already. Um, it's pretty stable country, I would say, especially comparing with others here in the region. Is nothing like Nigeria, and of course nothing like Niger or Burkina Faso at the top. But of course, it's a country that is not free of corruption. Um, so I'll start with what happened the first time that me and a colleague from Belgium were there. We arrived and we had a reservation at so the city is not very big. The airport is inside the city, and it's a very small airport. And then we drove into the hotel that we had booked, called Azalai Hotel de la Plage, or Azalai Hotel at the beach, which was, as you can see here, relatively old-fashioned hotel. And when we arrived, um, the hotel concierge said, "Yeah, well, we had to cancel your reservations because this next few days there will be a conference of friendship between Burundi and Benin, and they are occupying the whole hotel. But don't worry, we booked you something somewhere else." So we waited a bit at the reception area, and basically they took us to some street here in around the center area, and to a place that had a half hotel, half house, which was just nothing that we would stay in. Basically, we said no, we're not staying here. And then we decided to start calling all hotels. And there was at the time a few international hotels, not a lot, so this is not really um, a top destination, Benin. So, but there was an Ibis somewhere here, close to the beach, not here, the port, somewhere here. There was some other hotel, I think Sofitel and all that we called, they were all full. We are already losing hope until we decided to call the French embassy, and I called the Brazilian embassy, and because the Portugal did not have one, and my friend was trying Belgium, France, etc. And basically, they told us, well, there's a compound that had been built by Gaddafi, and there are a few hotels, not hotels, but a few, let's say, B&B, Airbnbs, kind of like, and there's one that probably has room. And then we went to this one, and it was an amazing place. It's called Maison Rouge, so the red house, and it's really like run by some people from Belgium or France, I don't remember anymore. Very nice place. It has very few rooms, I think maybe like 10 at tops, and it's all clean. It's very beautiful. It's not extremely expensive, like had like the swimming pool, etc. You can see that it's mostly like a house, and it's inside this compound that was built by Gaddafi at the time, and it was super safe. And yeah, and we stayed here, and it was a good thing. I think in the meantime they also added a few things like this sports hall, etc. So, but it didn't happen at the time. So this was a very nice surprise, a nice place to stay, and that was it for the experience. And then when we went to do the investigation, it didn't went very well. I mean, hmm, it was not the best investigation. There was some hiccups, but which I cannot tell. But one of the interesting things was that they, and I'll go back here to the map of Benin. One of the persons from the investigation sent us to a restaurant, or we wanted to go for lunch, and went to a restaurant which was around this port area, maybe here, maybe this restaurant, I don't know anymore, probably. And they told us to get the fish, which was, yeah, fish from the ocean. And we did get the fish. And while I was having the fish, I looked, and this area here it was dirty. I mean, the water was dirty. There was trash and all that stuff, as you see in a lot of places in Africa. And then I asked, where did they get the fish? And they say, oh, just right from here. So this was also another interesting story about Benin. Um, and then, as I said, we had to go back 7 months later. And at the time, of course, we called this hotel to see if they had a reservation in for the first night. They did not. So they recommended another hotel, which was this one here, Hotel des Orchides, so of the orchids, and which beachfront. Well, if you could go to the beach there, which is unlikely. Um, it was not the same quality, to be honest. And the thing that I remember is that the room was something like that, and it was super, super, super hot that day, and the aircon was not working. But I mean, it was just one one time, and then the next 2 nights or 3 nights, we stayed again at Maison Rouge, and this time there was not really any investigation topics. So it was a clean audit or clean investigation. To finish, I mean, as I said, one there, it was the plane that we took a couple of times to go around Africa. It was not just in this one. I remember also in Brazzaville. I took this airline. It's pretty good. I mean, we used, especially for this African flights, are the smaller planes. So the CRJ's 900 with 2-2 configuration or 2-1. And yeah, overall, it's a decent airline. Um, I don't remember how the food was or anything like that. It's just the topic that sometimes, and I can just show you here in a bit of the map. Uh, Sometimes if you want to go, for example, and I think that was the one that I had once, then I flew from Libreville here into the other side, I think to Kampala or to not sure if to Kampala or to Kigali, one of the two. And it went Brazzaville, Yaoundé. Then Yaoundé it stopped in not in Bangui, but it stopped somewhere in Kisangani, so in already in Congo. And then it went either to Rwanda or to Kampala. And basically, this meant that the flight that if it was direct would be like 3-4 hours, then turned into 7 quickly because it stops in 3 places. Anyway, so for next time, the next country that we are going to do, I mean, the next country after Benin, alphabetically, it's Bhutan, but I've never been to Bhutan. So the next country that I'll be, it's after this one, which is Bolivia. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let me know.